Hi, this is part two of the videos regarding the building robot questions. We In the previous video we have walked through the steps to build this PERT chart, and now we are going to go through using this chart to answer questions. So this is question 2 in the assignments. Assuming the time given for each activities are accurate, what is the minimum time required to design and build the robot? Now, this is the minimum time is the time required to complete the longest path, not the shortest path. Because if the longest path is not completed, this project is not completed. So the minimum time required is actually the longest path, not the shortest path. To do these questions, you need to list the time required for each possible path referred to the PERT chart. Add the time for each activity as the total time required for each path. Okay, so path 1, okay, look at your PERT chart. Path 1 start from start, go to sensory, SP, go to ED, go to HA, and then go to FA. You add the time 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and 5 weeks. You will get 23 weeks. Okay? Path 2 goes from start to SP. So here's the path 2. Start to sensory program. SP goes to motion, ALD, ALA, FA. To get the total time, add all the weeks in these activities, and you will get 34 weeks. Okay? Path 3, start AL, goes to M, goes to ALD, goes to ALA, goes to FA. Add the number of weeks it takes for each activities in this path to get the total number of weeks required for this path. And it takes 38 weeks. And don't forget the last path. Last path goes from start, BD, TA, and then goes to FA. The PERT chart in your assignment will be slightly different, but you follow the same way, the same method. Last path would take 12 weeks. So out of four paths, the longest path is 38 weeks. So the minimum time that required to complete the longest path is 38 weeks. So to answer the questions, you need to write the minimum time required to complete this project is 38 weeks to complete path 3. Next questions. Question 3. At what point in the timeline does each activity for the completion of the entire project begin and end? So for these questions, you need to list the number of weeks and then also list when does each activity start and end. Okay. So here you can use a timeline. You draw a line with number of weeks, you can use a table like I am. I list the week. Okay. So week 1, which is from week 1, I start SP, AL, and BD. Look at our chart, because that's what I can start without waiting for anybody. So I can start SP, AL, and BD. Okay. And now I look, okay, where's the next thing that I can start? And what is the next thing it can end? So SP take 5 weeks and BD take 4 weeks. So I guess BD complete first. So BD complete at week 4. Once BD is complete, I can start TA. So once BD is complete, end week 4, and can start TA. Okay? Now what's the next thing? Look at the graph. The next thing is sensory program is going to finish at complete at 5 weeks. Once this complete, I can start ED. So at week 5, I end sensory program and I start ED. And then you just keep going. Make sure you start activity. You can only start the next activity in the list after the activity before it is completed. And then you list the whole table, and this is what you're supposed to submit in your assignment. Next questions. Which of the 12 activities are critical activities? Note, critical activities are all of the activities in a critical path, which is the longest path that we already listed just now. So if we go back to the list of the longest path, I copy it over here. Path 3 that takes 38 weeks has activity AL, M, ALD, ALA, and FA. So these 5 activities are critical activities. Now for your assignment, it will which of the activities are critical activities? It asks for 12, meaning there are 12 in that path. Okay, yours will be a little longer, but it's the same method to do it. Question 5. It's an extension question, but everybody's required to do it. Since any delay in completion for critical activities result in a longer total completion time, these activities may need extra people assigned to them. Suppose you can reassign team members to an activity according to the following guidelines. Okay, you can move people around in different teams. No one can work on activity outside of his or her team. For example, computer programmer must be assigned to activity 1, 2, 3, 4 and cannot be assigned to any other activities. So must be assigned to a computer programmer's activity. Okay. Every activity must have at least one person assigned to it at all times. Minimum one person for each activity. An activity that is received extra help can be completed 1 week earlier for each additional person assigned to it. An activity cannot be completed in less than 1 week, even if more people are assigned to it. An activity takes 1 week longer to complete for each person removed from the original group. Okay? As long as we follow this guideline, we'll move people around. So for question 5, part A, you're required to move one person around. Okay? It said if you could reassign one person, how would you do it? So you can move anybody. I'm just showing you example. Okay, let's say I'm moving the one that's red highlighted here are critical activities. So my goal is to shorten the critical path so that it doesn't take that long and moving people from non-critical path to it. But it has to come from the same team because otherwise they don't know how to do other people's job. And once I move one person over, you have more people, and the one that have more people will take shorter time. The one is being moved away, like the one has less people, will take longer time. 1 week per person, added and subtracted. So let's say, just an example, you can move anything that you want as long as you move somebody to somewhere that makes time shorter. That's your goal. So I moved from SP, I moved this original, they have 4 members, and I move one away, so 3 left. Move it to motion team. Now motion team have 5 members. Okay? Now these 5 members will take 11 weeks because originally it was 12 weeks. And then since I added one people, now it's become 11 weeks. The rest SP, instead of taking 5 weeks, now it will take 6 weeks. So how does it affect our timeline? Let's look at this. So since we took a member from SP and put it in M, so paths that have SP become 1 week longer, paths that have M become 1 week shorter. From what we did previously, any path that had SP, like path 1 and 2 have SP, I will add 1 week to it. So 23 weeks become 24 weeks. And this path had SP and M, so I plus 1 minus 1, the time doesn't change. The third path has M, so the path that have M become 1 week shorter. So 38 weeks become 37 weeks. Path 4 doesn't have any of them. It still takes 12 weeks. So your answer in full sentence. The completion time changed from 38 weeks to 37 weeks. Okay. So to answer question B, you need to complete this using the knowledge above. So B asks if you could reassign 2 people, how would you do it? Okay, so same thing, you go back to your chart that you already moved. Now you move somebody else. Let's say you can move somebody from body design to ALD, right? Then body design will have 1 week longer and then ALD will be 1 week shorter. Okay, that's another person. And then you will go back to your path. Any path that have body design will become 1 week longer. Any path that have ALD, this path and this path will become 1 week shorter. Okay, from what we have adjusted previously. And so you make sure you mention those in your assignment. If you can, for part C, if you can reassign any number of people, how would you do it? Now this is, you have to go play around, move people. Your goal is to shorten the critical path, but also bear in mind there are other paths that may also take longer. Make sure when you move people, they are not making other paths too long, and also doesn't make a big difference. Now, lastly, don't forget to write your reflection. Could the total completion time be further improved by allowing people to work on activity outside of their official team and designation? This is opinion. Justify your response with appropriate reasoning. Make sure you write at least 3 to 4 sentences for this reflection to get complete grade. Thank you so much for watching this. Make sure to email me if you have any questions.